Hello everybody. I thought I'd try something different today. I was at work and I was bored out of my mind. It was a really slow day. And I started thinking about other people's threads and stuff like that. And I came up with a couple questions of my own. So I'm going to try to do my first thread. And some of these are a bit off. They're a bit weird, but just work with me, you know. Hopefully I'll get some responses out of it, but I'm gonna call this the personal flame thread. And I got 6 questions. Number 1, how intimate do you get with your records? And by intimate, I mean how much actual contact do you have with them? Myself personally, I'm not somebody who really wraps them up or anything. You know, I like to feel it. I like to have it in my hands. You know, I'm not manhandling the record itself, obviously, but you know, I like to sit there and I'll hold the record and I'll curve it against the light, and I love to see the way that the light reflects off of the grooves. Or I'll sit there and study the grooves sometimes, like you know how they'll have like a higher, lower, an acoustic part, and you'll see the shades of the grooves. But essentially, I like not only to listen to it and appreciate it, but I like to feel it in my hands. So that's what question number 1 is. How do you feel about that? Number 2, how do you feel about surface noise? How much is too much, if any? I don't really mind too much. If it's just a little bit, like I want to, when I put that needle down, I want to hear a little scratchiness, but when the music starts, I don't want to hear that. Number 3, do you have a favorite color of vinyl? Mine personally, I love clear pink vinyl. I only have a couple of them, but they are just beautiful. There's something trippy, psychedelic thing about it. I just love it. Number 4, how do you drop the needle? Or in other words, how do you use your tone arm? You know, do you have a manual tone arm, or do you have a, you know, is it automatic? Do you use the lever? Do you put it down? Personally, myself, when I first start a record, like to put the needle on by myself. But when I'm taking the needle off, I use the little lever because, well, I don't trust myself, you know. Hands aren't that good. Where was it? Oh yes. Number 5. Do you prefer your vinyl thin or fat? What do you prefer? You know, real flimsy 180 gram vinyl, or like that ultra, like, you know, ridiculous 200 gram vinyl? I've found that 150 gram tends to be perfect for me. I really don't prefer 180 gram. It's almost too big for me, but whatever. Last question I have, and this is just, it's completely hypothetical question, but I think it would be a good question to ask because it might like help get into the whole psyche of everybody. But hypothetical question. Number 6. Pick a record that if it was magically transformed into a person, you would have sex with. Sorry, it sounds a lot weirder coming out of my mouth than it does in my head. But like I said, I think this could be kind of, you know, for me personally, it'll be fun to see what people come up with. And I'll show you mine. My choice anyways. And it doesn't have to be one record. It doesn't have to be, if you have like, you know, 3-4 records, if you want to do like a record orgy, be my guest. But for this one, I picked one. Let's keep it simple. And it's what you hear playing in the background. That's To the Heart by Mark Allman. This was the first record I found by them. And I found it at Goodwill. And the reason I ended up getting it was, you know, the cover kind of caught my attention. And when I looked at the liner notes, Billy Cobham played drums. So I was like, oh, well, come on, I gotta get it. But this record has such an intensity and such a mellow passion to it that if this was a person, oh man, you know, she would be good in bed. You know it. Plus, there's a couple songs in here which makes me think of my wife. So, yeah. But yes, quick recap. 1. How intimate do you get with your records? 2. How do you feel about surface noise? 3. Do you have a favorite colored vinyl? 4. how do you drop the needle? 5, do you prefer your vinyl thin or fat? And hypothetical question number 6, pick a record that if it was magically transformed into a person, you would have sex with. Now, I don't really do very many threads, so if I'm repeating threads, if these have been asked before, I apologize, but humor me. I hope I hope I get some responses. Until then.